So I didn't touch on another area that I'm working on, and that is that it's my belief that if we move to a new paradigm sort of approach where we're a learner-centered approach, it's going to require drastic change of roles for all those involved in the educational process. So teachers are no longer going to be the sage on the stage. As we often say, they'll be the guide on the side. That's the term we often use. So teachers aren't going to be tasked with doing so much. Right now we have a very teacher-centered approach to education where so much of the energy has to come from the teacher. The learners are passive, they're expected to be quiet, it's asking them to be disengaged, and the teacher has to provide so much energy providing the content, trying to engage the students, trying to pull them in to the discussion because it's centered around the teacher's activities. If we move to a mastery learner-centered approach, we're now ensuring that the learners have more time when they need it, that they're providing most of the activity, and the teacher is actually able to teach by facilitating and coaching the learning, recognizing where the students are, where they need to be, how to best help them get there. It's allowing for a more in-depth relationship between teacher and learner, and one that is more structured around ensuring that the learning actually occurs. And if we're going to make that drastic a change, we're going to need technology to be a big part of that. And that's another area that I'm trying to work on is what sort of technology can we have in place that we can apply systemically to the entire educational process to support teachers in doing this, to engage other stakeholders such as parents, to move the learning outside the confines of the physical classroom walls, to allow students and learners to take ownership of their own learning, to recognize where their strengths are, to work on projects that impact them and their communities and that they have passion about. Technology is going to be needed to support this sort of learner-centered vision of what we believe education needs to be. So I think that's a big part of it that we need to work on, but we also need policymakers to understand that just because something is difficult and complicated doesn't mean it's not worth doing. And oftentimes what we see is, well, that sounds good, someone should do it, you know, but not me, it's too hard. And part of that mindset change is that we can't keep kicking this down the road. At some point, change will happen. Systemic change is about trying to make that a positive experience instead of a cataclysmic experience where because the system is completely fallen apart, we're forced to change. And those cracks show more and more every year that passes without people being proactive in trying to implement systemic change and kicking the can down the road and hoping a miracle happens.